Why, you ask? Because all I knew up to that point, and my parents weren't square. My parents were musicians. So I kind of joked about Barry Manilow and stuff earlier, but my dad and my dad listened to everything Zeppelin, to Kiss, to Black Sabbath, and was very supportive of my life choice of being in a band. And the reason I had a hard time wrapping my mind around it at 14, almost 15 years old, was everything I was listening to was either MTV or FM radio, commercial radio, and it all sounded pristine. It couldn't sound like crap to get on those two formats. Well, something weird happened. I couldn't stop listening to that crappy recording, and I kept putting it in. And the next thing I know, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Next thing I know, it was my favorite band. Then I found the Circle Jerks. Then I got Bad Religion Suffer, and my whole being changed. I'm like, wow, this really speaks to me, you know? But, you know, a couple years later, Operation Ivy releases a record called Energy. Go listen to it. It doesn't sound great, but it sounds great. You know what I mean? And I learned then that punk rock really leveled the playing field for me. I've always said if I could play guitar like Eddie Van Halen or Yngwie Malmsteen, I would have been in a metal band, but I couldn't. But I could play 3 chords, and that's what punk rock was. And anybody could do it. And you could get on stage and, you know, be great or make an ass out of themselves, and no one cared, usually. And that was really, really cool. Here's some, I do know where these came from. Where's the guy that asked about the photos? Here? There you are. So these are punk rock photographers, okay? They've been around for the last 25, 30 years. One of them's Lisa Johnson. Lisa was on every Warped Tour I ever did from 1997 to 2018. She is one of the sweetest people ever. My 20-year-old cousin just got into photography about 2 years ago before she went to college in Orlando. And she came on the Warped Tour, and she said, I want to take pictures in the pit, and, you know, is there any way I could meet Lisa Johnson? I said, yeah. They still talk 2.5, 3 years later. You know, she's helped her out, just a dear friend. This is my friend Jody, she's from the UK. Remember matinee shows? So they typically were on Saturday or Sunday, typically Sunday. It started like noon, and they go till like 7 or 8 at night. You know, so kids could go to school the next day. And we'd get on these bills in Jersey, like H2O, Madball, Less Than Jake, Agnostic Front. I'm like, dude. And some of the nicest guys. The exterior was this, but they were just dudes in bands, you know, and got to be great friends with them. One of those bands is Sick of It All. We played the Punk and Drug Lick Festival 3 weeks ago in Orlando with these guys. And there's Pete. Pete's now got a big blonde mohawk, if you know what I'm talking about. So big and blonde that I saw him from about 2 blocks away in the Atlanta airport a couple years ago. I go, that's Pete, Sick of It All. I walked up on him, and here was him. We got Murphy's Law. You remember Murphy's Law?
Yeah.
Loved Murphy's Law. Okay, they had a record called Back to the Bomb. So that was them. This is Nausea. We got Madball, H2O. Which one was this? Gorilla Biscuits and Youth of Today over here, and then we got some more flyers and things over here. You know, I keep talking about the importance of people that aren't household names or that I don't know, and how they're all important to the story. You know, this guy here, I don't know who he is. Raymond Barbieri, born in '61, died in '97. His boots are here, right?
Rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, legend.
He probably. He was just as important in the sense that he could have told people, hey, don't play this club, don't do that. And all of these little pieces ended up to why we're standing at a punk rock museum, you know, 40 years later. Any fans of Chromax?
Yes, sir.
This is Harley's bass, Harley Flanagan, and I saw Harley not too long ago, and dude's like 65 and still jacked. I'd run away from him if I think he got mad at me. But we've got some. A microphone from Murphy's Law, and I guess those were knee pads that he wore on stage. I don't know if he was diving on his knees. Then you got Reagan Youth down here, which is a guy in a KKK outfit talking to a group of young kids. That was accepted back in '81. No one would frown on that, but still think that's a good selling point. Any questions about this? It's the capital of the country. That's where all of our political stuff is, and lots to bitch and scream about if you're a punk band. Some really cool stuff in here. I don't know why this Coleman cooler's here, but this amp was owned by a band called the Teen Idols, I-D-L-E-S, not to be confused with the band that was on Fat Records called Teen Idols, I-D-O-L-S, which their drummer, Matt Yonker, is now the drummer for Less Than Jake. So. Their biggest record at that point, No Control, or Against the Grain, Bad Religion, sold like 90,000 copies, which was a home run in punk rock in 1990. That was huge. This record went on to sell like 10 million copies, smash. It was unreal. I wasn't angry about one of my favorite bands, Green Day, becoming superstars. They were the first band that I ever saw that I walked out and felt like what I'm about to say. I saw them right when it was like a week after Kurt Plunk came out. They played the Star Bar in Tampa. It was a room maybe this big. The show's on YouTube. I found it. I looked for myself. I couldn't see. I left the show that night as an 18-year-old kid, and I said, that guy's a star. This band's gonna be huge. Unless their label, someone dies in the band, this band's gonna be huge. They were that good. And next thing you know, it happened. But I owe a lot to that time period. I wasn't bummed, like people were mad that, you know, and I understand, like they're not my band anymore. But I never felt like they were my band in the sense that before they got on Warner Brothers and became household name, I was telling everybody about Green Day. You gotta hear this band, you gotta hear this band. So I wanted to get them known. I thought they were great. So I owe a lot to that time period for this happening, because you know, who knows if the Warped Tour would have happened? Who knows if my band would have gotten a record deal, if we would have been able to do this. And punk rock might have been a footnote like it was in the 80s. It was a small thing that ended really coming back in the 90s, and it's still here all these years later. So,
Do you have a favorite record from Green Day?
favorite record from Green Day? Good question. Probably Dookie. You know, and I love Kurt Plunk. I love the first record, but Dookie's great. I loved all their stuff through American Idiot, and then select stuff afterwards. But they're one of those bands that you go see them and they're better today than they were yesterday. They're phenomenal. So very good. Any questions or anything else? What was known as the Riot Grrrl, okay, and they were pissed off punk rock women. They got out there and they were talking about things that weren't really being talked about in the 90s, you know, like, you know, sexual shit going on at shows, grabbing women and doing that stuff. And they were preaching about that, and really, nobody was doing that, you know, and they started that. And just that little piece, they've influenced a lot of people. And again, I can't state it enough. Like every little piece in here, it all added up to why we're still listening to punk rock. Most of whom I've never even heard of, these magazines. Some of them are from the UK, a lot of them are from here. Anybody remember zines that like just people would make in their bedrooms?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Still do it.
Those were the first people that started out figuring out how to get free tickets to shows. Hey, can I interview your band for my zine? Okay, you got a ticket for me too? Oh, okay. And my first interview was, I think, our first tour, 1995. Some kid came up and said, hey man, this is my zine. We were in like Phoenix or something. He goes, could I interview you? And I remember saying, for what? About your band. I mean, I was that green, you know? I just was like, why do you want to? Okay, and you know, started doing interviews, and these kids would Xerox their own stuff and staple it together and take it to school and pass them out or take them to shows, and then it became, like I said, a way to get into venues. You could weed out the ones that weren't legit and the ones that were good. But that's all on this wall. I'll say it again. If you want to come through and read every one like I did on my first tour, welcome to go through here as much as you want today. This section over here, a bunch of crazy flyers. All these placards were not here today. So these are all new. Vagrant records, Nitro records, Cave Tree. Face to face. Any fans? Oh. I thought they were going to be Green Day. I was convinced that they were going to be on the radio, and for whatever reason, didn't happen here nor there. But the first time I saw them was at the Hardback Cafe in Gainesville, Florida, small punk club. And this would have been 1994. I think they were on the 94, 95. They did The Big Choice, the third record. And they pulled up in a shuttle bus, like an airport shuttle. with like beds in it. They made like wood beds. And I'm like, these guys are rock stars. Like they might as well have been the Beatles. I'm like, they get to lay down. Like I gotta sit up all night between Cleveland and Indianapolis. They get to lay down. Years later, I talked to Trevor about it, the singer bass fan. I told him that story, and he goes, "Dude, it was like sleeping in the back of a pickup truck. It was the worst thing ever." So
plywood and some towels.
But yeah, I thought it was the coolest thing. Like they're not in a van; they were in a shuttle bus. He's like, "Yeah, the thing broke down every 300 miles. It sucks." Again, great flyers. If some of you could come over here and turn this way, this is an old picture. Not many pictures of Operation Ivy exist. That's the flyer over there. This was their last show. You were there? Are you shitting me?
Dang.
No kidding.
Wow. It's the nice thing about living in the Bay Area. Back then, you got to see it.
How many times do you see them?
And 2.
Okay.
I've been a 3rd time. I don't know.
I've never met anybody in the flesh that's seen Operation.
Yeah, I'm not often envious, but
Yeah, dude.
that's pretty amazing, man.
That's like the one band I wish we could get back together.
How old are you, 7? So, don't say it.
Have you heard Doom Regulator yet?
I've heard about. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. They're kind of doing something together. Yeah, it sounds like
the
a.
name it was under, and then
Yeah,
they changed
yeah.
the name or something.
It's. I mean, I like it. It's not the same, but it's still. It sounds more like a Poet's Life stuff than it does Operation Ivy. But it's kind of emotional seeing them together, and you're like, whoa, this is weird.
Get your hopes up.
Yeah, very much so. Yes.
Get a room, guys. So, there's Jesse, the singer. There's Matt Freeman from Rancid. He played in Op Ivy. And there's Tim Armstrong.
That's Joe Armstrong.
Yep.
There you go. I was going to say, everybody knows anything. There's Billy with a mullet, stoned out of his mind.
That's a great photo.
He loved Op Ivy. That was one of his. I've talked to him about Op Ivy, and he's the only other person that ever saw him that I knew. So, and he kind of downplayed it when I asked him. He's like, "Yeah, they were great." Oh, dude, what was it? Because to me, that record absolutely changed my life. I don't know how those guys wrote those songs in 1988. Like, nothing sounded like it. It was pretty remarkable what they came up with. Back over here, behind the guy in the white shirt, that's the original artwork for Liberal Animation from NoFX. You'll also see over here, let me see that. You'll see these form letters from Fat Records, okay? And they'd say things, "Hi, Fat here. Thanks for sending us your demo or CD or whatever. We used to write back to each band personally, but it takes fucking forever. So we made this sort of form letter. Now we can listen to your demo, blah, blah, blah." And he has these different things you can check off. First one is, "You fucking suck. Don't ever send us your demo or anything else, because it's a big waste of time. Go back to work at McDonald's. Maybe one day you'll be the fry guy." And it goes from there. We got that from Fat Mike. We sent Fat a demo, or maybe Pez for the first record, in 1995, and we got the letter back, and all I remember it saying was pass. He wrote pass. Not hi, how you doing, nothing. And then 5 years later, he put out a record called Borders and Boundaries, which was cool. And when we got on Fat Records, that was another thing. There were people that didn't like my band because we were on Capitol Records. The funny thing is, when we recorded Borders for Boundaries, it was with Capitol's money. We got dropped right when the record was done. We got on Fat, and all of a sudden we got this credibility. People liked us. People would come up to our shows and go, "Dude, I've heard of the band, and when you got on Fat, like, it changed my life." I'm like, "This is the most commercial record we've ever made." Like, and you like this one? Going over to Europe at that time, Fat and Epitaph were it. They're still it over there. Okay, punk rockers over there go nuts for those two labels. Our credibility, our shows got more packed when we were on Fat Records. It was like the greatest thing that ever happened to us was getting dropped from Capitol. So we didn't know it at the time, but it really was. Here's a letter that NoFX wrote to the fan in October 10th of 1986. Okay, I had no idea bands would even write somebody in 1986. So again, NoFX has like 7 or 8 years on my band. The relationships and it's no wonder why the band is so revered and so popular. They were doing this when it was not fashionable, and no money, and the people that were listening to them then, it meant so much to them that they never stopped listening to them. They'll never turn their back on the band because they gave them something that they couldn't get in 1986. All right, this is Pennywise's actual rehearsal space. That's the garage door from it. They brought the drywall in, they brought the carpet in, and exactly how it looked. This is the warehouse. Where the hell was this all those years, you ask? I found out. Fletcher, Pennywise guitar player, he dismantled this and took it to his mom's garage. Why? Like, our warehouse looked almost exactly like this. It was about double the size, less than Jake's. Cigarette butts, beer, the most filth. Why would you want to bring that to your, and when I see him next, I'm going to ask him, why did you bring this to your mom's house? Supposedly it was there, and when they were putting the museum together, he said, yeah, I got the original Pennywise warehouse to Fat Mike. He's like, I want to bring it there. I don't know how they got this here. Did they put it on a flatbed? I have no idea how they got it, but here it is. They have bands come in and jam here. I can't give it away. I don't know if it's tomorrow, but one of the, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I'm going to. One of the huge bands at When We Were Young is going to do a surprise pop-up show. But I can't tell you who it is. Huh? I don't know. I don't know. You? Huh? It's not me. My friends in a band from Maryland called Ballyhoo, they're kind of a reggae band. They just came out here and, sorry? Yeah, Howie's awesome. They just came out here and they got to play in it. It's just really cool. Again, how pristine the museum is, and all of a sudden you get to this, you know. But it works. It works in context. Back here we got a picture of the Vandals eating at, I don't know, is that Del Taco? Yeah, eating at a Del Taco. I don't know why that's here. This is Josh Freese, who is now the drummer for the Foo Fighters. That's Josh. Yep. And here they are. There's Josh. There's got a Dalmatian in the picture. There's Warren. They're in a park just enjoying the day. I don't know why these pictures are here. I don't even know if Mike knows why they're here. Who's that band? That's the Vandals. Yes, the Vandals. Yep. Josh is in so many. Not anymore. No. I guarantee Dave. So Josh has been a kind of a session guy all these years. One of the best drummers. And when I say best drummer, there's a lot of great drummers, but then there's next level. Okay. And when I say next level, we're talking like Beethoven, Mozart, that kind of idiot savant, that good at their instrument. Okay. He's that guy. He's played for Sting. He played with the Vandals because they were his buddies. Okay, but he's played with Sting. He's filled in for played with Evo. Huge pop bands. He'll go out and do stadiums with, you know, Ariana Grande and just different. They'll hire him for certain gigs. Boo's got him in, and I can almost guarantee you that Grohl went, here's $5 million, and you're going to be in the band, and we're going to pay you an equal cut or whatever. He's not going to lose that guy, especially after the tragic passing of Taylor Hawkins, who was an amazing drummer as well. All right, next group. And his dad's famous. And his dad's famous, yes. And his brother. Let me tell you guys.
Here goes. Joe
Here he is, Fat Mike. So, it's loud in here. Let's go upstairs. Oh, shit. We won't get too close. Look at that.
Oh shit, bro. That's dope. And I like your shirt too.
Oh, thank you.
That's
I gotta get a picture of this, buddy.
Want me to take a photo for you?
I'll do it. Thank you, though.
Yeah, no worries.
Get that arm out. I got my own picture. You can get a picture of me in a second. Shit, my fat head. There you go. Awesome. Want a photo?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Tony, this album is...
Dude, it's a perfect record.
All right. This is the wedding chapel. You can get married here.
Is that what this is? Duh.
You can get married here. And also, there's a tattoo shop back there. They kind of moved the operation out here. Evidently, there's been about, I don't know, 40 or 50 weddings that have taken place here. The last wedding, this past Friday the 13th, they had 3 weddings here. So I think they were trying to start their marriage off on the right foot, or I don't know. I wanted to talk to you downstairs, but the music was too loud. You'll notice a Pringles can they sell there. It's $13, which for Vegas prices, you know, Vegas is expensive. And 13 bucks, it'll get you drunk, the one thing. Why is it in a Pringles can? Does anybody know? Fletcher. So, I just witnessed this in Orlando a couple weeks ago, and he's been doing this as long as I've known him. They will give you the chips in a basket and then fill up the Pringles can. The reason it's called the Fletcher, to this day, it just happened, he'll walk by cops at festivals and shows with a lid on the Pringles can, just walk through with his drink. And it doesn't leak, it's got like a waxy interior, so that's why it's called the Fletcher. Another thing, just now, out of nowhere, is just how random Mike is, okay? He comes up just now, and Joe Principe, the bass player from Rise Against, was giving tours earlier. He was upstairs. And Mike comes up just now, and Rise Against is a notorious straight edge band. They don't party, none of that. They're vegan. So Mike comes up to me just now, and he says, "Hey man, I just ran into Joe." I go, "Cool, I saw him earlier too." He said, "Yeah." I said, "I really want a Rise Against book." Joe's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I want a book for your band. You know, I think it'd be great. You know, in the book, all it's going to say is we played the show, we had some cheese pizza, and we went to bed." Okay. Where the hell does this shit come from with that guy? But anyways, I had somebody tomorrow here want me to marry them. They asked if I was ordained. I am not. And then they asked if I would be. A witness at their wedding. And I would have, but 2 things. I have a charity bowling thing tomorrow night over at Brooklyn Bowl, so I couldn't do it because they're getting married here at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. The other thing is the museum is in the business to make money, and if I was ordained and they wanted to pay for it, I would have done it and got my cut, and the museum got their cut. But the amount of money to sit there and watch someone get married, I couldn't do it. I told the guys, I can't take your money. I'll watch your wedding if I can, but unfortunately I can't. But yes, you can get married right here and get a tattoo at the Punk Rock Museum. And I had no idea. Again, every time I go through here, are you filming everything? I love that, by the way. No, keep going.
As much as I possibly can.
But just edit the good points and Photoshop my gut out, okay?
I do it for myself all the time.
And every time I've had to pee, I keep running downstairs. There's a friggin' restroom right there. Right, just so if anybody has another pit stop, they can go right there. We're gonna go up, before we go upstairs, all the artwork in here was not here in May. This has all been donated by Mark DeSalvo. Mark has done the Lagwagon, all the No Effects, a lot of the No Effects album covers. He did this one over here. This was supposed to be the cover for Heavy Petting Zoo. But again, much like the White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean original title, they didn't feel that would get in the store. I don't know. Maybe he didn't have a good enough ass, I'm not sure. That ended up being the cover over there, but those are all the...
They released an LP with that cover.
They did.
Yeah. I think it's a re-release though.
But I don't know if Mark's still with us or not, but I know that this got donated here, so.
It's awesome.
This is the pop and current punk 2000 section. Freezing?
And on the note of the wedding, if anyone wants to get married, talk to me.
Talk to this lady if you want to get married. Perfect.
Do you have a husband?
All right, we're gonna go in this room. So it kind of made me laugh the first time I came in here because it said, you know, post 2000s punk, and I come in here and I go, this is like pre-80s punk, you know, early 80s punk. But there's just some more photos in this room, some that are just really cool. Probably my favorite photo in the building is right over here because I've lived this photo. Typically now when you get into venues, most of the venue people that work there, they like music. They, you know, they're a punker. They might have some tattoos, and they kind of get it, right? Because we've had enough years now where people have been educated and they know what to do. Well, here's the Circle Jerks. This guy's going ass overboard stage. There's Greg Hetson. This guy looks really angry right there. And then this guy looks like he should be at Club Med or something, right here. Get down. You'd see this guy at punk shows when we first started, because before us, there wasn't punk rock, before all these bands. So he was like, you know, doing Blue Oyster Cult and, you know, rock band shows. Never had to worry about stage lighting, that kind of stuff. And we had a lot of problems with security in the 90s. Because you get these guys and start seeing them moshing, they think people were fighting. They'd dive off the stage, put someone in a chokehold. Roger would dive off the stage, start swinging on that guy, and then the whole thing turned into a melee. Luckily, that doesn't happen too often anymore, but like I said, this guy's laughing. This is someone's dad. He wants to kill somebody, and but this was going on. That's another picture I wish I could dive into. He'd be the first one I go up to and go, dude, what's your story? Talk to me right now. But I got Jerry Only over here from the Misfits, and just some really candid, just great photos. There's Joey Ramone over here, and it's a really dark image, but just cool. And they took the time to get everything framed in here. This wasn't a quick put together. In 2018, we were playing a festival over in Europe, and Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance has another band. I'm blanking on their name right now. Thank you. And no, it wasn't LSD. No, it was another band. It wasn't them. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, Frank was watching our set, and I had this kind of spiel I was going, and I got to thinking, 2018, they had massive hits. They were a huge band, and I told the crowd that I said, next year, summer 2019, I'm calling it now, My Chemical Romance is coming back. And they did. The reason I'm telling you this, these guys just announced their retirement. I've been to Derek's house. His gardening bill, his maintenance a month is probably $3 to $5 grand. They'll be back. They had massive hits. They might go away for 3 or 4 years. He's not going to make the money he's making with that band. They will be back. Don't fret. Don't worry if you're a Sum 41 fan. They're coming back. That Mike announced that NoFX is done next year. I'd like to believe that, and they very well may be. I don't know. He hasn't let on. He said, no, I'm done. He's got a bunch of projects and a bunch of things that he wants to do. I will tell you, however, there is money in announcing a final tour. NoFX, what they're doing out there right now with Punk and Drublic is insane. Like I said, they're getting the beer vendors, the stage is there, everything is in-house. They're making every dollar, okay? There's more people coming, triple the amount of people coming to see this band now because it's the last time. In a year and a half, when they go back out again, if they go back out again, there'll be that many people there again. It's genius what they've done. If I thought my band could do that, we'd retire right now. I don't know if it would go that way. But anyway, Sum 41 will be back. We're going to go to this next wall, and I'd love to get a picture with everybody. And I'll post it. I'll post it on the wall with you for a second until they scroll on. We just play with it.
It's the same stuff over and over again, but it's a different story every time.
Yeah, the stuff I'm not sure about, I tell them, I'm like, I think this is the story I heard, but I'm not,
It's all about vantage point and perspective.
Yeah. Well, this one's pretty cool. We got some used gear, very used gear, but awesome gear it's been around the world and been recorded on albums, like Reagan's Inn, Wasted Youth, that whole setup was that's what they used. They mic'd it up. We got Fat Mike Space, MXPX, Mike Herrera, Tim Armstrong's, and any left-handers in the room? Lefties, no? Maybe. But, a slew of great jams have gone on in here so far. In 6 months we've been open, but I don't know, you can play, do whatever. You guys can more than help.
Yeah, so at this point, what I'd like to say, you can, again, tour the museum as many times as you want. You're welcome to play any of the instruments in here. I'm going to be hanging out here for a second. There's that curtain in that new room. It's black, and I wore my blue shirt, so I'll stand out. If anybody would like a picture, I'll be right over there. So when you're done in here, we'll get a picture. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you today for being here. This means as much to me or more than it does to you. I never thought I'd have broken record here. I said at the top, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do this. It's awesome. The connection with the fans, it's priceless, and thank you.